Ahead of phase 6, when Delhi is polling in the general elections, it's always been a very interesting fight in the national capital. The BJP has swept the 7 parliamentary constituencies the last 2 times. This time around, they've changed as many as 6 of those sitting MPs. And amongst the fresh faces is also the fresh face of Basuri Swaraj, who's joining me today for this special conversation. Basuri, thanks a lot for speaking to us.
Thank you very much for having me here.
So you're a fresh face, but there's also a familiarity about you because you're your mother's daughter, of course, the former Chief Minister of the national capital. Let me begin by asking you about the story behind your ticket. Tell us the story. How did it happen? What was that moment like when the party broke the news to you, or how was it broken to you that you're going to be a candidate?
There is no story behind it. To be very honest, I did not receive any call. I had no hints and I had no expectations. I was watching television with my father on the 2nd of March. And just like everybody else, on TV, I saw the press conference, my name was announced. And
you had no inkling before that?
Absolutely none.
Surely the party must have tapped you and taken your views on it.
None whatsoever. I did not lobby for the ticket. You cannot lobby in this party. That's not how we work. This Sangathan takes the decisions on its own, keeping in mind criteria that is privy only to them. So to be very honest, I had no inclination, no calls, no heads up. I found out like everybody else from the TV.
You were a spokesperson for the party already, but did you think about active politics? Did you want to get into active politics like your mother?
So I was initially initiated in the party as a co-convener of the legal cell, and then later on I became the secretary of Delhi BJP. Spokesperson or representing the party in the media was one of the jobs that was sort of given to me, or one of the responsibilities bestowed on me as secretary of the Delhi BJP. But that was the extent of it. To be very honest, the ticket is not a reward. The ticket is actually a responsibility. And it's a responsibility which I take very seriously. And it's not a responsibility that I'm shouldering alone. This ticket belongs to every single worker or Karyakarta of the Bharatiya Janata Party. It's a mere coincidence that the name happens to be Basuri Swaraj. I'm telling you, all that I represent as a candidate is that of being a Kamal ka phool.
But did you envisage this life for you in active politics? No. You were very happy with your law career?
I was happy being a lawyer. I was given a call one day and I was asked to serve as the co-convener of the legal cell. I was serving the party for about a decade as a lawyer for the party.
Sure.
And it was a behind-the-scenes role where I was representing the party and the Sangathan across various fora, whether it's Supreme Court or High Court or Trial Court, etc. And then when I was given a call to join the party as the co-convener of the legal cell, I think it just extended the same role but in a more formalized manner.
So how has life changed for you since this ticket has been announced? Because this is almost unannounced or maybe unexpected for you?
It was certainly unexpected, but life has changed in the sense, obviously campaign takes a life of its own. A campaign is definitely hectic, but I'm very grateful for this opportunity. It is also a very long campaign because the ticket was announced on the 2nd of March. Polling is happening coming Saturday on 25th of May. So it has been a relentless campaign of, I think today is possibly the 78th day of campaign.
Right. But tell me one thing, you obviously have seen politics from close quarters, from both of your parents, but in different ways, right? Talking about your mother, you consider her legacy to be a boon for you or a burden for you, because you're going to be forever compared to Sushma Swaraj, who had one of the most glorious careers that a politician could hope for.
So I actually was brought up in a very happy but a very normal home. And I was very fortunate to be in a joint family where I had my grandparents living with us. So it was a very sheltered and a beautifully nurtured childhood. It was not a political childhood. So when you're growing up, your parents are just your parents. You don't see them as through the lens of their profession at all, or through the lens of what the world perceives to them. As far as legacy is concerned, I'll be very honest, I think it is a burden which is carried more in people's eyes.
Okay.
I don't take the pressure of it.
You're
I
not
nev-
worried about being compared to
No.
Sushma Swaraj because that's inevitable, no?
Yeah, it is inevitable, but it's also in other people's hands. I think what's in my control is the fact that it's a privilege to be Sushma Swaraj's daughter. It's an honor to be Swaraj Kaushal's daughter. I'm very grateful for it. I must have done something really right in my last life. कोई बहुत अच्छे कर्म करें जिसके कारण ऐसे parents मिले. And I'm really, really grateful for the kind of, I would say, life lessons that my mother taught me, or the kind of guidance my father continues to give me. But other than that, comparison is something which is other people's business. Not to take that pressure is definitely my business.
You can control that much.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
But tell me, did your parents want you to be in politics or were they a little wary?
It was never a topic of conversation, surprisingly. Because when I was growing up, I think my mother's political rise, I mean, it was her career which was speaking. And that time, conversations with my mom was about life and about my profession. And later on, I left the country and I went abroad for studying. When I came back, I was too busy sort of trying to find my feet in the realm of law, which itself is very challenging. But I'm just, like I said, even now, I think the way I approach things would definitely be emanating entirely out of what she has taught me, or the way Dad has guided us. Because I think this is true for you as well. We're all nothing but a distillation of our parents' values.
What was your impression of Indian politics? You know, it is still something that you were very, very aware of, and you certainly saw a lot of it around you. So, as a young professional, even today, what was your impression of politics before you know, kind of started working with the BJP officially?
After 2014, my impression was that of hope. I was also somebody who had voted, obviously, for Narendra Modi. And I was euphoric after 2014, then again after 2019, when, I mean, I know that the kind of tsunami that came in terms of mandate for the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, is something, I was part of that euphoria. I was part of enjoying that euphoria, and I think I was part of creating that euphoria as a voter. And certainly the tectonic shift and the drastic comparison in Bharat pre-2014 and post-2014 is very stark. It's there for everyone to see. And I truly believe in his vision. I'm not saying this because I'm a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party or a candidate. I'm saying this as an Indian, as a Bharatiya. I truly believe in his vision of a Viksit Bharat. No, I'm so surprised. Nobody before 2014, especially Congress ke कार्यकाल में, nobody ever even talked about India ever becoming developed. You know, it was always about roti, kapda, makan. It was always about fulfilling basic needs, which is so sad that from our independence until 2014, nobody was talking about it. It is only he who started talking about these visionary ideas. And now the vision of Viksit Bharat that he's articulated, come with me on the campaign trail and see the way it's resonating on the ground. It's chiming with people emotionally as well.
But tell me, as a person and as a young professional, as a woman also maybe, I don't know, did you sometimes look at Indian politics and say, oh, this is too dirty for me, you know, things that go on, I can't do it, I don't want to be in active politics, maybe I can help the party as a professional from outside?
So I'll tell you, my vision of or opinion of of politics was never from a personal point of view. But I never thought that politics was too dirty because I had my mother involved in it. और कीचड़ में कमल की तरह खिल कर रही हैं माँ. उन्होंने बहुत एथिकली तरीके से राजनीति करी है. उन्होंने बहुत ही स्वच्छ तरीके से करी है. And she was loved across party lines. And I remember something that I said even at her memorial service. कि दल की राजनीति से ऊपर उठकर उनको बहुत ज़्यादा स्नेह और मैं कहूँगी almost at the level of reverence देखने को मिली है. And I'm very grateful to everyone for it. And she really, I think, something that you can learn from her political career is that she showed that politics is actually an instrument of change, and you can make a difference to people's life, even at a personal level. So,
Do you sometimes, does this happen sometimes to Basuri Swaraj, where you were standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom and you're kind of practicing your oratory, thinking of the day that if you were to be in Parliament next, you would speak in Parliament and you would be compared to your mother's oratory skills?
no. I never had the time to practice these things before before the mirror, because I was too busy formulating legal submissions before judges, because I knew that I had to go to court and face a volley of judicial interventions. And I think, like I said, I was into hardcore litigation. I've been practicing for the last 17 years. So litigation leaves you very little time for all of this.
But possibly prepares you for a life of a politician.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
But, you know, speaking about your mother and, of course, the last 10 years that you're talking about under Narendra Modi, I want to ask you, you know, there was a time when it was much harder to be a BJP politician. Your mother has gone through those struggles when the BJP wasn't that strong a party, and, you know, she has risen, and then the party has risen to what it was in 2019, 303 seats. How does that journey, you know, make you feel? Because today it is possibly much easier for a Basuri Swaraj to be a BJP candidate and, you know, from a prestigious constituency. It was much, much harder in your mother's time. You're aware of that, you know, difference?
So I can talk about it with the benefit of hindsight as a voter. Because when my mother was in the midst of it, I'll be very honest, I was very young. I was extremely young. Of course, I went on campaign trails with her. I have memories of campaigning with her and things like that. But if you're talking about from analyzing this entire political scenario, I would say wherever we are standing today, that strength comes or is rooted in the struggle of the stalwarts that came before us. We stand very strongly on the shoulders of the stalwarts that came before us. So I would say I can analyze it only with a point of view of gratitude. So whether it is Atalji or it is Advani ji, and I know that it is not only me, but even my leadership, whether it is the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, or our Honorable Home Minister Shri Amit Shah ji, or our Rashtriya Adhyaksh Honorable JP Nadda ji, I know that मेरा शीर्ष नेतृत्व बहुत ज़्यादा शुक्रगुजार है हमारे सारे के सारे उन लीडर्स का, जिनके कारण, जिनके योगदान से पार्टी जहाँ पहुँची है वहाँ पहुँची है आज.
But it would be fair to say that most, you know, BJP candidates are fighting with Narendra Modi as the face, right? This election is pretty much about choosing Narendra Modi as the next Prime Minister
it's
again.
a central election. It's the union election. So obviously central or national issues will take precedence. And obviously it is going to be the face of the Honorable Prime Minister, because we're extremely confident in the kind of work that the Modi administration has done for the past decade.
But there is a criticism about, you know, BJP candidates from this point of view that they're not bringing that much to the ticket. It is, they're coasting on Narendra Modi's name. So I want to ask you, as a first-time candidate for the BJP from the national capital, from, you know, the very heart of the national capital as well, why should people vote for you, for Basuri Swaraj? What is it that you are bringing to the table?
So there are a couple of issues which are very peculiar to Delhi, especially to New Delhi. One of the issues, I think, which is marked, you know, the entire Delhi is marked by, is that there are many of these extremely beneficial schemes run by the Modi administration that have benefited the entire country except for Delhi, because the Honorable Chief Minister Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji, out of politics of spite, does not allow their implementation in Delhi. I'll give you an example. Ayushman Bharat. Ayushman Bharat is a revolutionary government scheme run by Modi ji. The beneficiary is granted an annual health cover up to 5 lakh rupees. And Modi ji has now pledged that in his third tenure, the ambit of Ayushman Bharat is going to be increased. It's going to start, it'll bring in its fold the transgender community, as well as every single senior citizen who is above the age of 70. Now, you know that that's a huge relief, not just for the senior citizen community, but even for people like us, our age group, because this is the age where your parents become your children and you become their parent. For any millennial or even a Gen Z, knowing that their parents are taken care of up to 5 lakh rupees annually is a huge relief on their pockets as well. But Delhiites are deprived. So the first thing that I'm going to do if I'm elected is ensure that Delhi does not remain deprived. If it means going and knocking at the court's door, then so be it. I will ensure that schemes like Ayushman Bharat or PM Awas Yojana are also implemented in Delhi. I mean, imagine Pakka Makan, up to 4 crore have been, Bharatiya have benefited, 4 crore Makan have been given in the rest of the country. But in Delhi, PM Awas Yojana, again, the Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Arvind Kejriwal, has disallowed its implementation. So that's one of the first things that I want to do. The second thing that I want to do is that it's quite, I would say, disheartening that all 10 MLAs for the last decade in Delhi belong to the Aam Aadmi Party. Out of 25 Parshad, and I'm talking about New Delhi Sansadhiya Kshetra, out of 25 Parshad, 20 belong to the Aam Aadmi Party. So in the New Delhi constituency, Parshad is Aam Aadmi Party, Vidhayak is Aam Aadmi Party, government in Delhi is Aam Aadmi Party, and yet no work has been done. The kind of issues that the constituents bring to me or to my attention are ones that should have been taken cognizance of by the MLA or the Parshad. And I've very, very respectfully told them that if you bring these issues to me as well, I am not going to say that, oh, this does not belong it is not within my area of work. I will stand with you to raise your voice and make sure that the Vidhayak or the Parshad also do something about it. So that is the second thing. And the third is I would really like to initiate a startup hub in New Delhi. I'm very, very inspired by the Honorable Prime Minister's vision. Stand Up India, Startup India and Lakhpati Didi. I think these three are very revolutionary government schemes. So the idea would be that it would be a youth-oriented and a woman-oriented project. Come with a nascent idea, a mere idea, and then we will give you all the knowledge which is required to fructify it. As a lawyer, I see that young entrepreneurs make the mistake, the cardinal mistake of parting away with too much equity. And then later on, they get exploited by investors. So we'll tell you what all is required, how to make your investor deck, what is required. Perhaps if you've not signed an NDA, then what is an NDA, what you should do, things like that.
You know, what you're talking about is such a contrast to the elections that have been fought in Delhi for the last 10 years. Because elections have been fought on free bus rides, for example, very popular scheme by the Aam Aadmi Party, free electricity, free water. How are you going to break the hold of the Aam Aadmi Party? Because those are the core issues on which they win versus, what the BJP says they want to do.
क्योंकि दिल्ली वालों को मुफ्त पानी से ज़्यादा चाहिए साफ पानी. The quality of life, you may talk about freebies, but come with me in the campaign and see, not a single promise has been fulfilled by Kejriwal ji. The quality of life, despite all these alleged freebies, is not up to the mark. People are still struggling for water. People are still struggling for clean water. And the Delhi Jal Board is entirely under the realm or the jurisdiction of the Delhi government, which is the Aam Aadmi Party government. And like I said, for 10 years they've had complete control. It's their MLAs, their government, their Parshads, and still nothing has been done on the ground.
आपको क्या लगता है दिल्ली में अब जो सिचुएशन है, बहुत कुछ बदल भी गया है. अरविंद केजरीवाल अभी जेल जाके अभी कैंपेन के लिए बाहर निकले हुए हैं, उनको वापस जेल जाना है, उनके ऊपर करप्शन का चार्ज है. तो क्या आपको लगता है कि बीजेपी के पास मौका है? क्या इस वजह से आप एक इनरोड बना पाएंगे? ये तो चलो पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन है, बिकॉज विधानसभा इलेक्शन भी बहुत जल्द आने वाला है. इसके बाद
रिस्पेक्टफुली उनके जेल जाने से या ना जाने से इस पे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है. देखिए, वो जेल गए हैं क्योंकि अपना खुद उन्होंने एक अपराध करा है. इसमें भाजपा की कोई भूमिका नहीं है. आपको याद होगा कि पहला समन उनको 2 नवंबर 2023 को दिया गया था. तब तो लोकसभा के चुनाव आसपास भी नहीं थे, पर वो तो विपासना की वर्कशॉप के लिए 10 दिन के लिए छुट्टी मनाने चले गए थे. 9 समन्स का निरादर कर उन्होंने तो जांच एजेंसियों को विवश कर दिया कि आकर उनको कस्टोडियल इंटेरोगेशन के लिए लेके जाएं. उसके बाद उन्हीं की पिटिशन पर दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने ये फाइंडिंग रिटर्न करी है कि उनकी अरेस्ट लीगल है, क्योंकि उनकी व्यक्तिगत भूमिका रही है शराब घोटाले में करोड़ों के रुपए का किकबैक लेने की. और जहां तक उनके प्रचार की या इंटरिम जमानत की बात है, तो इंटरिम जमानत का यह अर्थ नहीं है कि वे निर्दोष हैं। ये दलील तो उन्होंने खुद अपनी अर्जी में नहीं ली। इसका अर्थ ये है कि उनको सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने केवल और केवल कैंपेन के लिए थोड़ा वक्त दिया है। 2 जून को उनको सरेंडर करना है। और मैं आपको सच बता रही हूँ, आप रिकॉर्ड उठाकर देख लीजिए, 2014 में भी वो कैंपेन कर रहे थे, 2019 में भी कैंपेन कर रहे थे। रिजल्ट सबके सामने है, हैट्रिक होगी इस बार भी। 7 की 7 सीटें दिल्ली की जनता बीजेपी की झोली में डालने वाली है।
बट आम आदमी पार्टी की एक छवि है, वो एक ऐसी पार्टी है और अरविंद केजरीवाल एक ऐसे नेता हैं जो भाजपा को बहुत तगड़ी टक्कर देते हैं। और लोकसभा इलेक्शंस की बजाय असेंबली इलेक्शंस देखें, अभी रिसेंटली एमसीडी इलेक्शन देखें, तो उन्होंने भाजपा को हटाया तो है ही।
मैं इस बात से सहमत नहीं हूँ। अगर आप अभी विधानसभा के चुनाव जब हुए थे तो भाजपा को टक्कर देने के लिए उतरे थे। 200 सीटों पर उन्होंने अपने उम्मीदवार उतारे थे। आम आदमी पार्टी के उम्मीदवार अपना खाता तक नहीं खोल पाए। अगर वोटिंग परसेंटेजेस देखेंगी तो लोगों ने नोटा को ज्यादा प्रेफर करा बजाय आपके कैंडिडेट्स।
बट दिल्ली में उनका थोड़ा सा,
दिल्ली में आपको मैं बताती हूँ, 2025 का चुनाव आने दीजिए, आप देखिएगा इस बार यहाँ पर कमल ही खिलेगा, क्योंकि दिल्ली की जनता उनसे त्रस्त हो गई है। ये एक ऐसी सरकार है जो निकम्मी सरकार है, कोई काम नहीं करती सिवा प्रचार प्रसार और भ्रष्टाचार के, और दिल्ली की जनता ये समझ गई है।
आपको नहीं लगता कि अरविंद केजरीवाल को जेल जाना पड़ा? आप कह रहे हैं कि बीजेपी का उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है, लेकिन पॉलिटिक्स में आपको पता है परसेप्शन की लड़ाई भी होती है। उन्होंने साफ ये बार बार आम आदमी पार्टी बोलती है, अभी कैंपेन में भी बोल रहे हैं कि उनको जानबूझकर जेल भेजा जा रहा है, उनके ऊपर करप्शन का चार्ज लगाया जा रहा है और ये वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स है। तो आपको नहीं लगता उनको कुछ सिंपैथी शायद इस इलेक्शन में मिल जाए?
किसी तरह की वो कोशिश बहुत कर रहे हैं बनावटी सिंपैथी या सहानुभूति लेने की, लेकिन दिल्ली की जनता बहुत समझदार है। मैं आपको यही बोल रही हूँ, समन्स का निरादर उन्होंने स्वयं करा। ये रही बात, ये जो शराब नीति थी, जब एक तरफ कोविड चल रहा था, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी एक नहीं बल्कि 2 वैक्सीन भारत में बनवाकर मुफ्त लगवा रहे थे और जीवन दान दे रहे थे भारतीयों को, तब माननीय मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी कोविड के कार्यकाल में या तो शराब नीति बना रहे थे या अपना शीश महल बना रहे थे। और रही बात, जब उन्होंने 9 समन्स का निरादर करा और उसके बाद इन्होंने जांच एजेंसियों को विवश कर दिया खुद उनको अरेस्ट कर ले जाने के लिए, तो कोर्ट की फाइंडिंग आई और कोर्ट तो इंडिपेंडेंट है। कोर्ट जो है उसका तो किसी प्रकार का राजनीतिकरण नहीं है। ये बात तो खुद आम आदमी पार्टी भी कहती है। वहां पर जो पिटिशन लगाई गई कि उनकी अरेस्ट लीगल है या नहीं, ये खुद अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने लगाई। वो बेल की पिटिशन नहीं थी, because if it was a bail petition then the judges would look only at prima facie evidence. Mr. Kejriwal asked and prayed the judges to peruse the entire evidential record. एक सबूत और तथ्य को देखकर फिर ऑनरेबल हाई कोर्ट ने कहा कि नहीं, आपकी भूमिका रही है पर्सनली किकबैक्स लेने में, शराब घोटाले में, और इसलिए आपकी अरेस्ट जायज है।
Delhi is witnessing a unique scenario this time around, where in the parliamentary elections, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress have come together, and this is the first time they're doing so. Initially, when they came together, it was a post-poll alliance after an assembly election verdict. Don't you think that in itself, at least mathematically, gives them a stronger chance this time around?
It has eroded their credibility tremendously, especially the credibility of the Honorable Chief Minister Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji. He had sworn on his children's lives that he'll never forge an alliance with the Congress. And then he did a 180-degree U-turn. Similarly, if you remember, he used to flash this black book saying, oh, it contains the names of all the 500 corruption club. And it had the names of stalwarts of the Congress party. Today, when the Aam Aadmi Party is head to toe drowning in corruption, it seems that they are mirror images of each other. And on the Congress side, I must say that the Congress cadre is disillusioned. They never wanted this alliance. That is why you had Mr. Arvinder Singh Lovely or Mr. Neeraj Basoya resign from the Congress party. And I'll tell you, whenever the Aam Aadmi Party has come to power, they have cannibalized the Congress and come to power. Whether it is Delhi, whether it is Punjab. So this is a very unnatural and a very unholy alliance, which is wedged purely on selfish gain. And that is why you're going to see they're going to disintegrate. In fact, don't you see the kind of deafening silence that they maintain on very important issues? Let's talk about Ms. Swati Maliwal and what happened recently. It's despicable. It shocks the conscience of every individual. And I'm saying this above the difference of politics, above the difference of ideology. I'm saying this as a woman and as a voter of Delhi. The Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi could not ensure the safety and the well-being of his own woman parliamentarian in his own official residence. His own OSD physically assaulted her. If you've seen the FIR, the allegations are very severe. I'm not going to talk about it because the matter is sub judice. No member of the Congress party spoke up about it. The deafening silence maintained by the Honorable Chief Minister and further by their Gathbandhan partner, the Congress, it is shocking. And even if you remember when they went to Lucknow, when a question was posed to the Honorable Chief Minister, he shoved the mic before Akhilesh Yadav ji very evasively. And Akhilesh ji said that there are more pressing matters. A woman parliamentarian was assaulted at the official CM residence by the OSD of the Chief Minister. And Akhilesh ji is saying that there are more pressing matters.
मैं आपसे पूछना चाह रही थी स्वाति मालीवाल के मामले के बारे में, लेकिन उसमें तो आम आदमी पार्टी ने बिल्कुल खुले में आके ये बोला है ये तो बिल्कुल ही भाजपा की साजिश है. आपने स्वाति मालीवाल को मोटिवेट किया है, उनके बीच में पार्टी में थोड़ी बहुत डिफरेंसेस चल ही रहे हैं और आप उसको एक्सप्लॉइट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
इस असॉल्ट के 31 आवर्स के बाद माननीय संजय सिंह जी एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करते हैं और इस पूरी की पूरी घटना की पुष्टि करते हैं कि वाकई में हुआ. दूसरी बात, आप देखिए स्वाति मालीवाल जी की MLC भी हुई, उनका मेडिकल एग्जामिनेशन हो, उसमें इंजरीज थी. तीसरी बात, उन्होंने जो FIR दर्ज करी उसके बाद इस मैटर की जांच होनी चाहिए, जो हो रही है. पुलिस इसमें जांच कर रही है. मुझे आप एक बात बताइए, स्वाति मालीवाल जी आज की तो साथी नहीं है, वो तो अन्ना हजारे के आंदोलन में इनके साथ हैं. लेकिन एक महिला अगर इतना संगीन आरोप लगा रही हैं किसी पर, तो माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी को क्या करना चाहिए? वो पार्टी के भी मुखिया हैं और दिल्ली के भी मुखिया हैं. उनको कड़ी कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए या मौन साधना चाहिए? और आपको याद होगा वो तो अभियुक्त को लेकर लखनऊ के दौरे पे चले गए. ऐसा लगता है जैसे कि वो कार्रवाई की नीयत तो रखते ही नहीं थे, वो तो प्रोत्साहित कर रहे थे. जब अभियुक्त अरेस्ट हुआ तो कहां से हुआ? CM रेजिडेंस से अरेस्ट हुआ. मतलब दुशासन की तरह उनके सचिव ने एक नारी के साथ अभद्रता करी और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी दुर्योधन की भूमिका निभा रहे हैं. कल धरने पे बैठे हैं उसी अभियुक्त के लिए. ये तो अपने आप को अन्ना हजारे के आंदोलन की उपज बताते हैं ना. इन्होंने तो बड़े दावे करे थे कि ये दिल्ली की जनता के हक के लिए आवाज उठाएंगे. अब ये धरना प्रदर्शन उस अभियुक्त के लिए कर रहे हैं जो एक महिला पर हाथ उठाता है.
बट वो तो कह रहे हैं ना कि आप भाजपा का इतिहास ले लीजिए, अभी इसी इलेक्शन में ले लीजिए, प्रज्वल रेवन्ना का केस हुआ, वो टिकट पे थे, सबको पता था, टेप्स कोई नहीं तो नहीं थी. भाजपा के नहीं ना हो कैंडिडेट बट अलायंस तो थी आपकी. आप ब्रिजभूषण के बेटे की टिकट देख लीजिए.
एक भी इंसिडेंट मुझे आप ये बता दीजिए, जिन भी लोगों की आपने बात की, रेवन्ना की अगर आप बात कर रहे हैं, रेवन्ना की बात में मैं आपको बता देती हूँ, पूरा का पूरा लॉ एंड ऑर्डर कांग्रेस की सरकार के हाथ में है. लुकआउट सर्कुलर कांग्रेस की सरकार ने नहीं निकाला. इसमें पूरी की पूरी लापरवाही उनकी है. अगर हम दूसरी उसमें भी बात करें, मुझे ये बता दीजिए एक भी व्यक्ति पे क्या मुख्यमंत्री सचिव पर, मुख्यमंत्री के ऑफिशियल रेजिडेंस पर उनके सचिव द्वारा किसी स्त्री पर हाथ उठाने के एलिगेशन से. और बहुत विनम्रता से एक बात बताऊंगी, व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट वायलेंस अगेंस्ट वुमेन, व्हाट अबाउट इट इज नॉट द आंसर. इस पर्टिकुलर इंसिडेंट की तो बात करिए, इस पर्टिकुलर इंसिडेंट की तो बात करिए. ये बात तो अच्छा, ऊपर से ये भी तो देखिए, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री मौजूद थे घर पर जब ये हुआ था. अगर आप अपनी ही महिला सांसद की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित नहीं कर सकते, तो माननीय केजरीवाल जी आप दिल्ली की महिलाओं की सुरक्षा क्या सुनिश्चित करेंगे?
आपको क्या लगता है, व्हाट इम्पैक्ट डू यू थिंक दिस विल हैव, बिकॉज दिस इज हैपनिंग राइट एज दिल्ली गियर्स अप टू वोट. What impact do you see of the Swati Maliwal case?
एक इस जितनी भी विपक्ष जो चोट दे रहा है महिला के सम्मान पे, सनातन संस्कृति के सम्मान पर, आप देख लीजिएगा, इनकी एक एक चोट का जवाब होगा दिल्ली की जनता की वोट, और 7 की 7 सीटें भाजपा की झोली में आएंगी.
On that note, Basri Swaraj, many thanks for joining us and all the very best.
Thank you very much.